Good morning, everybody. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. It was really nice to see the lovely blue skies and some sun for once. It always puts us in a better mood. And talking of better moods, this time next week, it will be lovely to see you all back in the classroom. So it's our last week. We're going to do our best to just work through as much as we can, okay? And knowing that we're going to see everybody on Monday is just brilliant news. Let's get started with our comprehension today then. Just very quickly, I'm just wanting to point out a few little reminders to help us when we are answering our reading comprehension questions. So really important that we read the information. We read it once so we have an idea of what's happening, and by reading it once, sometimes it helps us to locate the information a little bit quicker, okay? When we are answering the question, we read it again, we underline any key parts that will help us, and then we go back and we underline where we have found the answer. It's really important, remember, that when we're answering, we go back to check. Even if you think, oh yes, I definitely know the answer, I'm going to go back, check and underline that part so that I know I've definitely got it right. Because sometimes we're that one step ahead and we write down what we think rather than going back and checking. So let's get started. Question 1, what is Neil Armstrong famous for? So, question 1, what is Neil Armstrong famous for? What I would like you to do is pause me, read this information first, read everything first, okay, if you've not already, read the page, and then we'll come back and answer that because I forgot to leave some time for you to read it, okay? So pause me, read it. There you go. So that's the question. What is Neil Armstrong famous for? So Neil Armstrong, what is he famous for? Let me pop my pen up so we can underline. Got to remember I'm looking for what he is famous for. Choose green. So Neil Armstrong, the title. Who was Neil Armstrong? I think I'm going to find it in this section. Neil Armstrong was a famous American astronaut. Oh, he was famous for being an American astronaut who became the first man on the moon. Now, if you wrote, what is Neil Armstrong famous for? Okay, if you have put just astronaut, I will give you that because it says that he was a famous American astronaut. So you may just write astronaut. You may, okay, have put the first man on the moon, okay? I will also accept that he was the first man, my handwriting isn't as neat as it should be, on the moon. Now, the reason why I have wrote my answer down, okay, is because I've noticed when you're sending in your reading comprehension, sometimes we're forgetting capital letters, full stops. So I just wanted to remind you of using capital letter, full stop, finger spaces. They're still sentences and it should always be there, okay? It should be habit, okay? So that is for everybody. Capital letters, full stops when we're writing a sentence, please, okay? So question 1, if you said astronaut, if you said he was the first man on the moon, well done. Question 2, what did Neil Armstrong step off? What did Neil Armstrong step off? I'm just going to underline that bit to remind me that I'm looking for what he stepped off. Now, I'm not going to start at the beginning again because I know that didn't tell me that first sentence. So I'm just going to continue from where I was reading. Have a go as well. What did Neil Armstrong step off? So let's read this bit. As he stepped off his spacecraft, Apollo 11, onto the ground, he said, I'm not going to read any further because I found my answer. Have you found the answer? As he stepped off his spacecraft, what did Neil Armstrong step off? He stepped off his spacecraft. Okay, so if you wrote spacecraft, okay, you can copy it. This is why it's helpful to underline, okay, because you can easily see where you're going back to. Spacecraft. You don't have to write everything in a sentence if it doesn't need a sentence, just the word will do. Okay, some of you, if you've not gone back, what did Neil Armstrong step off? Some of you might not read the question properly. You might have put the moon Because we know that Neil Armstrong is famous for walking on the moon, some people then just rush their answers and write down what they think rather than thinking about the question and where the answer is. So really important, read it, find it, underline it, write it. Let's have a look at a couple more before you get on with your own today. Let's have a look, see if I can, oh, there we go. Let me clear the page. So, have a read of this section, pause me, and when you've read it all, unpause me. Question 3. Which country was he born in? So read that again. Which country was he born in? So now I remember reading about that, and I remember reading about in this section his early life. So which country was he born in? He was, oh, I'm going to start underlining here, born in 1930 in Ohio in the United States of America. What have you put for your answer? What did you write down for your answer? What would you say? So I've underlined that information, born in 1930 in Ohio in the United States of America. The question, which country was he born in? What is the country? Which part of that is the country? Is it 1930, Ohio, or the United States of America? Hopefully you have said the United States of America or America. I would accept either, or the USA, if you know how to write that. Okay, short. Ohio is a place, it's not the country. So sometimes it's about our knowledge and understanding as well, that we apply that when we're answering questions. So please don't just copy the first bit, look at the whole sentence, okay, to make sure you have everything. Question 4. Which word tells me that he went to university? So this one is understanding of vocabulary, so checking that I understand what new words mean. So which word tells me that he went to university? So I'm looking for a word that tells me that he went to university. So we'll carry on reading. And remember, we're looking for a word that tells me that he went to university. I know it didn't tell me in this first sentence, so I'll continue reading from this point. He was only 15 years old when he got his first pilot's license. Doesn't mention university. After attending university, he became a test pilot and flew over 200 different aircraft. Now, go back. It mentioned about university. My question again, which word tells me that he went to university? Which one of those words? After attending university, he became a test pilot. Which one would you say? Which is the word that tells me he went to university? I'm going to underline it, and it is attending, okay? So that word, attending, tells me, okay, that he was a student there. He went, okay, he attended, he went to lectures, to seminars, to lessons, okay? He was attending, okay, university. And that is what the word means. So reading comprehension is not always about going back and finding the answer straight away. It's about showing an understanding of the vocabulary, okay? And I know that attending is the word which means that he went to university. Please today, okay, read those questions, underline or highlight where you found your answers. That is a skill that's really going to help you throughout school, okay? Minding myself, with the vocabulary, it's really important that sometimes we'll read a book and you might think, oh, this is really easy, I'm reading it really well. But we're giving you books with new words and with new vocabulary, and it's really important that you ask an adult, okay, or an older brother or sister, what the words mean. If it's a new word, please always ask, because that's a really important part of our reading, that we're building that understanding of new words. So today, our sheets, we've got a sheet with 1 star on, a sheet with 2 stars on, a sheet with 3 stars on. Check with your adult which one you are answering. The key and really important thing is when answering these sheets is that you can read the page on your own, okay? That you can read all of that information on your own, and you can read the questions on your own and answer them on your own, okay? So don't mind which one you do, but I don't want you to pick the easiest, okay? So I want you to pick the one where you're comfortable reading, okay? You can read most of those words. It might be just 1 or 2 words where you think, oh, I'm not sure. That's okay, okay? If you want to go for extra challenge, then push yourself to the next star. Remember that the 3-star sheet is what we would be answering normally if we've been at school all the time, okay, by the end of the summer term. In normal circumstances. We've missed a lot of schooling and you've been working really hard, but I don't want you to worry if you're not yet on that 3-star, okay? If you're working through the year 1 sheet, that's completely fine. If you're working through the 1-star or the 2-star, that is great, okay? I want you to pick the sheet that you are comfortable, okay, reading and that you understand, because it's about practicing answering these questions and knowing that we go back to find the answers. There isn't a literacy lesson tomorrow. We'll put a link up for Father John's Mass. He's delivering a very special Mass from church, and we'll put the link so you can watch that. And it would normally be when we deliver literacy in school. So there's no literacy lesson tomorrow. I'd like you to log on and join Father John with his special Mass at St. Bede's online. Wednesday, we're going to have another look at Neil Armstrong. Thursday's World Book Day. Lots of activities planned for World Book Day for you on Thursday. It'd be great if you could send pictures of yourselves dressed up on Thursday as well. And then Friday will be our last day. Okay, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. Have a super day, and Wednesday is our next literacy lesson. Bye bye.